Hey guys, Jedediah with Grass Geeks. We're going to talk about watering sod as you're laying it. It's crucial because if you're not watering sod as you're laying it out, it gets dry, and if it gets dry, that's when it's going to die. So essentially, the primary thing that we got to focus on when we're laying sod is making sure it gets wet as soon as it gets down. Okay, so we've got a section here, probably about 400 square feet or so. This whole backyard is about 600 square feet, so it's a really small job that we're doing, which is a good example to be able for you guys to see, okay, when we start to do it. So about you get to this size, you're going to be able to set a sprinkler in the middle of it. You're going to be able to let the sprinkler go and just let it water as you're continuing to lay sod. So you're not going to do it by hand. But today we're doing it by hand because we just didn't have a sprinkler with us today. So essentially, how you're going to water it, there's no rhyme or reason. There's no method really. You're just going to water it until it gets nice and soaking wet. So I've been watering it for about 20 minutes here, and it's now at a point where it's starting to get soggy under feet, and you can kind of see it start to squish when I step on it. That's exactly what we want, just to that level. That's how moist and how wet it needs to be. So when you explain to a customer, you can even show them this is how wet it needs to be after you're done watering. So the goal when you're watering is about 20 to 30 minutes. Twice a day is kind of the rule of thumb. Once in the morning, once in the evening. Now there are caveats to that. It may change depending on what the weather is. So for example, if it's raining, the customer may not need to water at all, right? Maybe once if it's overcast, maybe 3 times if it's sunny and 85 degrees outside, because the grass needs more water to be able to just stay wet and moist. Because if it's not staying wet for about the first 14 days, the grass will die. It will not do nearly as well as what it would if it stays nice and wet. After that, you can let the customer know, you can really start to tone back on the water. It doesn't need to be quite as much. You can maybe just get more of a routine, maybe twice a day at that point, regardless if it's super hot or not. And then, they can get kind of, after about a month or two, then you start to phase it in to maybe once a day for 20 minutes, essentially because it starts to get established, it doesn't need as much water. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of watering a lawn. Very important, very good thing to do it. And why do we do it as we're laying sod? Let's talk about that for a second. So the reason we do it as we're laying sod is because we got a sod roller. That sod roller is what's going to make the yard flush and level. It's what's going to make the yard beautiful, like a putt-putt lawn, okay? Once you get this all nice and soggy, the grass becomes moldable at the surface. When you step on it, you can see that it shifts underneath. Well, maybe not right now. Here, let's find a nice soggy spot. It kind of starts shifting underneath your feet. Yeah, right there. There's a good spot right there. See that? Starts to shift. That's good. You want that. So that way when we bring the nice heavy sod roller, it's about 3/4 full of water, over it, it'll flatten it all out and it'll make it nice and level and even. And that's what we want. That's why we make the grass nice and soggy the first day, is not just for the lawn, but also so that we can give a better quality product, okay? So thank you guys so much. I hope that helps. And yeah, we'll see you out in the field.